Well, good evening. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful night out, but you could smoke a pig out there this evening. The neighbor's burning brush piles, and I guess to put it in perspective, it's never not windy here. And now these brush piles, they've all burnt down. They're in the decay phase. They're just sitting there, low level smoldering, and it's not windy. The temperatures come down, humidity levels have come up, and the smoke is just hanging on top of the hill. And yeah, you could smoke bacon out in the yard right now. It's wild. Anyways, I gotta get some water for the pigs, so I'm packing in these 5-gallon jugs. That's one thing I think for next year, our major infrastructure project, like it or not, is gonna have to be water-based and probably gonna be out that direction. We have one water out there, but the sheep and the horses and the cows all share it, and there's really no place for the pigs to tie in there. In the summertime, we could put in, I guess tee off and put some kind of a water with a float in there. But, without rigging something up with power as well so that, it doesn't freeze in the wintertime, it's really not much good for anything. So I think it was mid to late 2017 when we put that one waterer in there over by the lambing shed. And that made the most sense at the time. But the challenge is once it's there, it's permanent infrastructure. Once it's there, it's there. And the rest of your operation just kind of has to bend around it. And over this summer, what we did everything with, that fixed water was there, but we did everything else with a water trailer or with hoses. We didn't really have to pack anything, which was beautiful. And it really keeps everything mobile, which works really, really well for animal management and resource management and limiting the amount of, I guess how bondage through infrastructure, you really get tied down with some of that stuff. That water that's out there by the lambing pen, the water itself is like $600, $650, I think, from UFA or wherever we got it. But it's like the $2,500 water because we got to rent the hoe for the day, we got to dig it, we got to buy all the water line, we got to buy all the cable, and then backfill and do all that stuff. So when it's all said and done, it was like $2,500, $2,800. Pretty expensive little addition. So yeah, you got to really think about where you're going to position that stuff. And that's one thing. If I could do it all over again, that's one thing where I think I'd probably put some more thought into where I would put it. And I guess while I had the hoe out for the day, I'd probably put a second, maybe even a third one. Challenge there is that it's really easy to get, I guess, short-sighted. So I think back in mid to late 2017, we had, 5 sheep and a dog. And I think that was it. I don't even think we had chickens at that point. I don't even know if we had the chicken coop. Maybe we were getting the chicken coop, but we didn't have the chickens yet till later in the year. Anyways, regardless, we didn't have a need for the infrastructure. We weren't really thinking in that long-term mentality, having just moved out of town, working on a 100 by 150 foot municipal residential plot, very, very small scale to moving out to 143 acres is what we have here. The one smart thing we did do though, for sure, when we did do that one water, we actually did put it on a T intersection between, one big field and 2 smaller, one paddock and 1 pen. So it did allow us to diversify the types of livestock that could use a single water, and that worked very well. So then, next time, probably next year, when we dig in another water, we're also going to have to put some thought into that. So we created earlier this year, I sat down the drawing board and actually drew out the yard site design of what we currently have in place. And I think next year we're going to have to go and take that design back to the drawing board and say, this is where we're at today, but where do we see ourselves being in 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years? What are our needs really going to be? Well, I tell you, in the last couple hours probably, it's got cold, proper cold, it's belting it down. Not even with snow, it's just ice pellets. So half rain, half ice, and then it just sticks kind of freezing rain, but it's actual pellets. Anyways, it's gross outside. So I'm gonna run and grab the eggs now from the chicken house. check on those girls. Like Carmen might have grabbed them today, I'm not sure, so I gotta run in there and just check anyways. But I'll bring my basket and we'll see what we can find. I was only able to find one lonely egg, so she must have been in here already and grabbed them. So I'll let these girls go back to sleep, get the light off, and go over and feed the dogs. We got the puppy dogs all watered and fed up here. Poor Miko. He has to wear the cone of shame for a few days. He's been chewing at the spot on his leg where it was a little bit itchy, I think. And now it's gotten quite sore, so poor guy has to cone up. He's gonna live for a few days in the shop, I think, where it's nice and warm. So he's got all his snacks and drinks and everything he needs to get by. He'll be all right, hey buddy? Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad it's cooling off here a little bit. It's gonna freeze up, things will stiffen up outside, be able to move back around the yard. Everything was warm there for a few days, and although that was pleasant, it sure does make a sticky, mucky mess to drive around in. So things will freeze up, we'll be able to get around the yard here. I just hope it's not, you know, death by hypothermia for the next 5 months. So maybe the temperatures can still be somewhat reasonable, but really beggars can't be choosers. And I'm not begging for much on the weather front, just don't freeze to death. Anyways, I'm gonna take my one lonely egg and head back in the house and fix up a cup of tea. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.